So Russia has huge supplies of oil and natural gas. I wrote a book about it called Blowout, in case you ever want to do some homework on the fact. But oil and gas constitute a huge proportion of Russia's economic lifeblood. They don't do much else besides oil and gas. And today, the state-controlled Russian natural gas company, a company called Gazprom, today they announced that they are cutting off natural gas supplies to Bulgaria and Poland in what seems pretty clearly like retaliation for European support for Ukraine as Russia continues to wage their war there. Now, Bulgaria gets about 90% of their natural gas from Russia. Russia just cut them off. Despite that, the Bulgarians were pretty unflinching today. Their prime minister responded today by saying, quote, "We will not succumb to such a racket." Poland, the other country that got cut off today, they've been preparing for something like this from Russia for a long time. Among other things, in recent years, Poland built itself a new liquefied natural gas terminal, shipping terminal, which means they can get shiploads of liquefied natural gas brought in from any other country in the world instead of having to rely just on the pipeline from Russia. So yeah, Russia just cut Poland off, but Poland was preparing for that anyway, already trying to wean themselves off being dependent on Russia. What Russia did today, it's just speeded up a timeline that was already in place for many European countries to start getting themselves off Russian gas, because how can you depend on Russia for anything? I mean, Russia does have leverage in terms of cutting off petroleum products to countries that are dependent on them. But there's also a problem here on Russia's side. Russia itself can't go very long without selling its oil and gas, in large part because it has nothing else to sell. And a lot has been written lately about the fact that, China or India or maybe some other markets will step up and take Russian energy supplies if Russians stop selling it westward. But that's not practical from a purely logistics standpoint. As the Associated Press points out today, quote, "The Russian gas pipeline network from the huge deposits in northwestern Siberia to Europe don't connect with the pipelines running to China, and Russia has only limited facilities to export super chilled liquefied gas by ship. So they don't have the pipelines to send it anywhere but Europe, and they don't have ships, really, to send it anywhere except into the pipelines." Russia is ill-equipped to send gas to these other countries, right? There's also just the more obvious point that you're dealing with a much lower volume when you're moving a product by ship as opposed to putting it into a pipeline. In any case, by picking this fight with Bulgaria and Poland, Russia is more or less cutting off its nose to spite its face. Now, regardless of whether or not Russia had made such a move, a European embargo on Russian oil and gas was already in the works. That ban could be part of an upcoming sanctions package from the EU. To underscore that point today, the president of the EU said, quote, "The era of Russian fossil fuel in Europe is coming to an end." Europe has known for a long time that they need to get off of Russian oil, right? Europe knows they should have realized that becoming dependent on Russia for energy supplies was a bad idea. Russia, during the Cold War, keeping up its supplies, despite all the vagaries of the Cold War, that sort of gave Europe a good reason to play see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil, and pretend it would all be fine. But those illusions are now over. What Russia did today, cutting off gas supplies to two NATO countries, to try to force European countries to change their behavior, there's just no way to hide from it anymore. He's now proven the point indelibly. Russia is a mafia state. Don't do business with them. Don't be dependent on them in any way. They will take any relationship they have with you, and they will use it as power over you. I mean, cutting to the chase here, part of Putin turning Russia into a full-blown authoritarian fascist state is that they're now a corporatist state, which means that business interests and political interests in Russia are merged. All economic power in Russia is harnessed to serve the state. So, Putin will use what normal countries might think of as a business relationship to go to war with you instead. And nobody can avoid seeing it now. So yeah, Poland's been prepping to get out from under Russian energy dependence. That will rush to completion now. The same thing will happen in Bulgaria. The same thing's even going to happen in places like Germany. The same thing is going to happen in all of Europe. What Putin did today will force Europe to cut the spigot from Russia faster than they ever would before. In the long run, this means for Putin, honestly, I believe it, the game is up.